Hello everyone and welcome to Finney Neighborhood Center and Seattle Folklore Society's concert. Thanks to the Finney Neighborhood Center for partnering with us for many, many years. They are a wonderful community cooperation to provide this facility for our concerts. Ahead of time, I have to give special thanks to our tech crew. Dennis Gavin's here monitoring the video, making sure that we can stream online. Josh Larios out in Canuck Club land, thank you so much for all you do to make this happen online. Now I'd like to introduce the reason why we came tonight, Tania, Opland, and Mike Freeman.
Nobody told me about the concert. I was just walking past and thought it was a football game.
As you know, like everybody, we've been kind of hunkered for a while, so we are really delighted to be out here in front of actual live people, and it's kind of comfortable to have our now familiar online audience, the little blinking green light in front of us. Hi, everybody. So many concerts we've done in a tiny room with just us there, and we were actually dressing up our camera with a face mask and sunglasses so that we knew which way to look while we were playing.
This is actually our first real show in 3 years, so it's going to be interesting. I worry when they clap before you've done anything.
We're going to start off with a song that I wrote, and I've often said that I wanted to be a songwriter. I'm mainly a song interpreter. And the reason is because it takes so dreadfully long to finish songs that I would never be able to put together, albums of my original songs. But this one is really kind of extreme. This is one that I finished up when we landed in Anchorage in COVID isolation, and I had started it when I was in middle school.
It's only a couple of years ago,
Of the sea speak softly to me. A gull's haunting cry joins in song. The red setting sun, when each day is done, takes a bright shining bow and goes on. The day ends, a day begins. Where do they go? As time melts our lives away like sun on the snow, and here I am. While under my feet, the earth never sleeps, just turns ever round and round again. The moon circles watchfully, both fettered and free, and calls to the ocean, come away, come to me, and here I am.
tune at the end. That was an old klezmer tune called The Old Share.
It's an absolute joy to see you all here and so many familiar faces, but even an enormous joy to see Ray and Sue Moores here sitting quietly at the back there, who are responsible for the existence of this very dulcimer.
Well, them and a bunch of other people. I can see the names on the label here, but yes. This is that one that I picked up from you guys at the shop on my way to a show on the Wawona. I don't know how many people here were involved in those concerts, but the first time I ever actually saw it was when I pulled it out of the case on stage for the concert. So, thank you.
She does that. Seat of the pants.
So here's a tune that is we picked up from Portland, Oregon. They've got great sessions down there in Portland that we've never made it to, but we keep finding tunes that have stuck out around the sides from there. And this one was actually being touted as I think a Cape Breton tune. And well, I tend to be a little, historical and researchy about my music. So
Hysterical, did you say?
Yeah. And found out that those Cape Breton fiddlers had swiped it. It's an old Italian accordion tune. So we're taking out the Cape Breton swing that it had in it because I never learned to do that, and playing my recreation of the Italian style.
And we're going to follow it with.
And we're going to follow it from a tune that is from Portland, Oregon, written by a guitar player, by a musician.
By the name of Bob Head, who I've never met, who happened to be left-handed, so everyone called him Lefty, and nobody ever asked him what this was called, so we just called it Lefties. Yes, dear.
playing in the basement. But we so appreciate you guys.
Is this the basement?
That's right.
Just a bigger basement.
This is a much bigger basement.
We even had to come in through the tradesman's entrance.
So.
I'll tell you, this is another first, apart from it being weird because we haven't played a live concert for 3 years. It's actually the first gig I've ever played with glasses on.
Much changes in 2 years.
Much changes in 3 years. Yeah. I still can't see a damn thing, but...
I came back with short gray hair, you know. Okay. So here's a song about gold prospecting.
Well, actually, there's a great... Some of you are old enough to remember the great live album, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Four-Way Street. There's a song that's guaranteed to bring you right down. It's called Don't Let It Bring You Down. It's one of my favourite quotes. So Bill Staines wrote this great song. I knew you were going to do that. Bill Staines wrote this great song about panhandling in Alaska and how desperate it was and how he couldn't stand it anymore and just had to get out of there. So California, not to be left out, because they were also looking for gold there, there turned out to be another song written by Trad. He's quite...
Trad on, my
He gets
favorite
everywhere,
record.
Trad on. So just so the Californians weren't left out, they wrote another dreary song about panhandling and how you didn't want to be there, and Tania likes dreary songs, so this is that one.
I have an affinity. You can't deny a true affinity,
I
right?
was just looking at the set list and everything, the first set's like a minor key, and I'm thinking, what do we do?
We had a pandemic, we're feeling very minor.
This song's gonna
This is a song about minors, so it's appropriate. Okay. Don't go there. I'll pitch my tent on this campground. Few days. Gonna give old Satan another round, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home. I'm going home to stay a while. Few days, but before I go, I'll plant a smile. And I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. And I am going home. Although I like the diggings here, few days, I won't stay here another year, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings, and I am going home. I will not trust. Few days, but with me take my little dust, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings. I am going home. My mother, she is gone before. Few days, I'll meet her there at glory's door, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings, and I am going home.
set on this campground. Few days, I'm gonna give old Satan another round, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings, and I am going home. I can't stay in these diggings. Few days, Lord, I can't stay in these diggings, and I am going home.
Now for something completely different. We're going to Scandinavia land. Tania's roots are Scandinavian, and a little while ago we were asked to play for, what was it called? What fest was it?
Oh, good question.
Something Scandinavian fest.
The whole name of the festival and everything was in Norwegian. It's this, there's a tradition of Norwegian men's choirs. Once every, I don't think it's every year. I think it's every 3 or 4 years. Whatever. All of the West Coast Norwegian men's choirs get together and have a big concert. And they get somebody who's actually a full-time musician to come in and play some music during the intermission.
They usually get really good people. They couldn't find anyone a couple of years back, so they got us. And well, what was very handy was we knew one of the people organising it, and we happened to live about 3 minutes from the casino in Suquamish where they were actually having the thing. So it worked out really well. We got to do it. So we learned this up for it. But the problem with this song is it's about 600 years old.
At least. It was found on a scrap of whatever was passing for paper at the time in a medieval book in what's now Denmark, but this is before Denmark.
Right. It was one half of a medieval Scandinavian bus ticket, and the other half had been torn off. So we only got about 4 notes of the song. That's all that ever existed as far as anyone knows. So nobody actually knows how this song is supposed to sound. No one's got a clue what it's supposed to sound
It's like sort of note that you jot down if you'd heard a really cool song and you kind of knew it, but you wanted to be sure you could get into it, so you write down the first line. And then the notes, there were actual music notes written on that continued on beyond that, but with no words by them. The words were written in runes. So, and it was tucked into the back of the Scandinavians have a long history of law books. They're really into the law, Scandinavians.
Not that they ever obeyed any of them.
But it was found tucked into a law book from the Middle Ages. And so when people tried translating the medieval Scandinavian words from this, they went right for the nearest thing in modern Danish that it would say, which was, "I dreamed a dream this night of silk and finest fur." But when scholars looked at it, they said, well, there's actually, those words don't mean exactly, they're not exactly that, and they could have meant, I dreamed of justice and of equal measure under the law.
It wasn't a law book, first for everybody.
It's all lost in the translation.
Yeah, so I did the Wikipedia version of the song, which is where I take all the possible translations and tunes that they put in there and mashed them together.
So I know you're all wearing masks, but this is just a killer for singing along. And,
It is.
I keep trying to find harmonies but can't because I'm terrible at that. So by all means, go for any harmony that takes your fancy because there is no end of possible harmonies. For
Wait, this is one of those songs where the chorus only comes around once. Fortunately, the word in the chorus is ah.
Oh yeah, that's not the one I'm thinking of, is it? That's a different Viking song. All right.
Okay.
Go.
Right. Okay. This is me, the poser, pretending to be a harp player. Watch this. Hold my beer.
microphone because when we set this up, I told
We're going
Alan.
to readjust.
I told Alan I was going to flip this mic up to pick up the 12 string, and then I forgot to do it.
Too late. So, shall we do that song you thought you were introducing when we...
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. Oh, actually, I'm going to give a little shout out on this harp too, since we've got the dulcimer and also harp makers here, Ray and Sue. But this one's from my side of the sound. This is one of Philip Bolding's harps over in Walla. So we've got some good representation of local instruments up here. My hurdy-gurdy was built on the Kitsap Peninsula. Oh, and my guitar is from Victoria. That's pretty close, right?
Both of these. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, here's
Here's the song you thought we were.
This is a very nice song. This song is in Flatten, which is faux Latin.
All in chorus.
And when I sing it, it's flattened. And this is the one I really need help. This is the one that's got the chorus with endless, endless, endless harmonies, which I need help on because I can't sing for nothing. So I'm going to do my best, and you have to help me out by just picking a chorus, pick a note, any note, doesn't matter. And just sing it. It's flattened, so it doesn't matter.
What he means by that. Okay, sorry, I'm going to step in with the academic thing here. This was from another medieval lyric, but this one was English, but it was medieval English. So I learned it all up in, very carefully learned and enunciated my Middle English, and then I went out and started performing it to lots of blank looks because nobody could understand what I was singing about. So I took and translated it into modern English mostly.
So it's a riddle song.
Except for the chorus. The chorus was in an already mangled version of Latin. So it was a Latin chorus being sung by generations of people who didn't speak Latin, and so they just made up words.
So the chorus is, just to tell you,
Partum quartum pare dicentum, peri meri dictum domine. Got something to do with God, I got that much.
I always thought it meant mine's a pint of bitter and a bag of chips.
I thought it was a pizza coming from Domine.
Young sister far across the sea, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Many be the druries that she said to me, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. She sent me a cherry without any stone, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. So she did a dove without any bone, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Sent me a briar without any sting, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. She bade me love my true love without longing, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. How can a cherry be without stone? Mary, Mary, dictum domine. How can a dove be without bone? Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. Partum quartum pare dicentum, Mary, Mary, dictum domine. How can a briar be without sting? Mary, Mary, dictum domine. How can I love my layman without longing? Mary, Mary, dictum domine. centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine, partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. When the cherry was a flower, then it had no stone, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. When the dove was an egg, it had no bone, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Now when the briar was a seed, it had no sting, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. When the maid hath her desire, there's no longing, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. I have a young sister far across the sea, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. So many be the druries that she said to me, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Oh, partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine. Partum, partum, paridi centum, Mary, Mary, dictum Domine.
Next, started off as a little Irish tune called The Moon and Seven Stars. It's now called The Moon and Eight Stars because there's an extra star on the Alaskan state flag.
Now, The Moon and Seven Stars is a tune that we picked up from our playing with William Pint and Felicia Dale, which, by the way,
Are
is
you name dropping again?
ramping up again already for the Winter Holiday Show, which we're going to do online again this year because we're just being cautious. But yes, as Mike was saying, there's an extra star now because I grew up in Alaska with, we used to sing the Alaska State Flag song at the beginning of the school day. And the first line is 8 stars of gold. And I'm thinking, 7 stars. It's probably the Big Dipper. You can just picture the pub sign, can't you? The moon and the Big Dipper. And, but 8 stars brings it into the Alaskan realm. So we messed with it. And we'll see if anybody knows what tune we go into at the second half.
Anyone here have associations with Alaska? Yeah. You might recognize it if you have.
7 stars. Wait, checking tuning. Is that a good idea? Yes.
Mary,
course, the Alaska State Flag song. But the first time we ever tried doing that on stage in a concert in Alaska, we were starting with the slow version of it and then wanting to kick up into the jig version. And the problem was, by the time we got through the first line, everybody was standing up.
So, looking for a time check, we've got 2 more numbers. Can we fit them in for the first half? It's a fraction longer than the second half, if that's all right with you. Can we fit them both in? Oh, we do. We have 3. Can we fit 3 in? Yeah, we're going to push it. We're all right.
Pushing it.
We're all right so long as nobody gets antsy and needs to throw us out. So we need a sign from someone.
That handy clock at the back, we can't actually see it. So 2 more.
Okay, we do.
3. If we do,
Okay,
we'll
well,
do 3. I hear 3.
Either
Do I
way,
hear 4? Do I hear 4?
either way, we're going to do this one. We lost a dear, dear friend not long ago.
A few years ago now.
She had always wanted. She had a desk drawer full of songs. She always wanted to have them recorded. Never got round to it. And when she found out that there wasn't much time to get it done, she set in motion a project to get her songs recorded. She died the day recording started, and a lot of you will have known Alice Winship. And this is the song that Alice asked Tania to record for the album. So we're doing this one for Alice.
River pilots guide ships out. Every twist and turn the river makes. From Portland docks to the river's mouth. Our pilots go where the big waves break. The bottom is shallow, the waves grow steep. The pilot advises where to steer. The channel is narrow, the spits like teeth. It's the graveyard of the Pacific here. The pilots know Columbia's bar. That's where the dangers are. The ships go out and the ships come in through the crashing waves and wind. The call comes from a ship inbound. They board the craft far out at sea. A helicopter lowers them down to a deck that is tossed on the heaving deep. Winter is a deadly time for a pilot boat on the storm-tossed waves. To a Jacob's ladder they jump then climb. If they miss they could fall to a watery grave. Ships are huge and filled with freight. The tide is money and the tide won't wait. They'll try to push them through. They'll keep it open if they can, but they won't risk a ship upon the sand. They're good at what they do. Freighter headed outward bound, but the wind changed fast, the seas rose high. The pilot boarder turned her around. We will have to go back until the storm goes by. Push on through, this ship can't quit, said the captain from the Philippines. The pilot said there's peacock spit. Do you know what the word graveyard means? The pilots know Columbia's bar. That's where the dangers are. The ships go out and the ships come in through the crashing waves and wind.
first heard the title Bar Pilots, I went right back to the old Monty Python days and immediately thought of flying sheep in trees. Bar Pilots. Okay, now we're going to go out medieval again, aren't we?
Yeah.
I
Like I said, when you got an affinity, there's no point fighting it.
and we brought the hurdy-gurdy, we might as well play it.
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
I remember at a festival once, Tania pulled out the hurdy-gurdy, started to play it, the sound man was scratching his head and twiddling knobs like crazy at the back there, in the days when you had knobs to twiddle. Afterwards, he said, "I'm sorry I couldn't get rid of that horrible buzzing sound." He forgot to warn me.
He didn't know what was causing it.
Poor guy. I always warn our sound people.
So this is a tune called "The Hole in the Wall," which in Manchester is a sleazy jazz dive, but in medieval times it wasn't. Something to do with Charlotte. Is it Charlotte's
Brawl.
Charlotte's Brawl. So she was getting into fights in the seedy
In the hole in the
bar.
wall.
And this, is it another brawl?
Go ahead,
Burgoyne?
make up
Is
something.
Burgoyne another brawl?
Yeah. Obviously, the hole in the wall was in France, in the Burgoyne region.
And so she used to get into a lot of scraps, and there was another one in Burgoyne. So that's the brawl de Burgoyne. Unless the Gurdy's out of tune and doesn't behave, and then it's Ukrainian.
No. We're going to do some actual Ukrainian later. Okay. That was a not promising sounding.
That was not, was it? No.
This Gertie and I are going to have a nice firm start on this tune. But first, okay, we'll spare you for now.
Tania doesn't write many songs. She's a woman of very few words, but I learned to my cost that every word she comes out with is worth listening to. In my case, or else. So this is a song that Tania wrote. She started to write on the back of a horse. She had an offer of a horse to ride, a huge 17.5, 18-hand thoroughbred hunter in Ireland. And it took her for a ride. It's how we found our Irish house, because she saw it off the back of this horse. But meanwhile, she'd got into a philosophical conversation with Derek, who owned the horse at the time. And this is a song that came out of it, but I'm going to disappear and leave you to it.
Sneak away, sneak away. This is one of those songs that takes me way too long to write, but this one was only about 3 years. So. In fact, the last bit of it, I remember I was driving home down to the Kitsap Peninsula from Port Townsend at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I suddenly realized what the last verse was. I said, pull the van over, pull it over. And sat and wrote the last verse, and then went home. Because you can't let those things get away. Take two. If I were a stone in a desert where the rain never fell, I'd stand alone, solid and unchanging as the ages passed me by, warmed by the sun or whipped by a bitter wind. I'd never know if I were a stone, self-content and self-sufficient, no ambition, no glory, no pain. But I am a river, never choosing my own course, though I create it as I go. I am a river, and though I don't know where I'm running, I rush headlong down from the mountain. I am a river, and all I know for certain is that always lead to the sea. And if I were a tree, I would know that where I'd stand is where I'd stay. I'd win my place by fighting for every ray of light and every inch of soil. I'd reach for the sky, overshadow all below me in my prime, till my seedlings in time would consume me and replace me when I fell. And if I were the wind, blowing freely through my lifetime, no restrictions or guidelines to moderate my rages and winds, the sound of my own voice would keep me from hearing the cries of those I'd battered down and left behind, if I were the wind. But I am a river, never choosing my own course, though I create it as I go. I am a river, and though I don't know where I'm running, I rush headlong down from the mountain. I am a river, and all I know for certain is that always lead to the sea. And when I reach the ocean at the end of all my traveling and tumbling down, will I lie easy then? Something tells me in my restlessness and yearning, I'll be tossing and turning till my waves break into spray and I can rain down on that mountain top again.
So, Tania and Mike, ready to come back for some more music? Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Can't make me. Yes, I can. Well, Kat Eggleston has already had an honourable mention, so now she's going to get another one. She's such a good songwriter, it's very hard to play a concert without doing at least one of her songs.
Well, and this one particularly, the very last concert we came out to see before everything shut down was Kat and Kate on this stage. And that was the first time I heard this particular song. And I instantly fell in love with it. And thought, ooh, I could do that one. We call it mining because you take a song and make it mine. So, sorry, I stole that from Felicia, actually. That's the joke she doesn't know she has. But,
You mean she's really got 4 jokes and she only
Yeah, 4
knows she only
jokes.
thinks she's got 3? Wow.
but yeah. So anyway, it just happened that she actually had it on a CD, so I was able to take it home with me and learn it. I love stealing songs because the person you stole it from still has it.
Monday morning you were born, Tuesday you were walking, Wednesday you had learned to talk, showed no sign of stopping, Thursday, Friday I looked up and you were off and running. Where you'll go from here, I guess there's just no way of knowing. Oh, the days hurry on, always moving on and on. I have loved you from the dawn and will through the evening. Where you are, the spring has come and all the world is blooming. And summer brings the burning sun before you know it's coming. Here I stand at harvest time, soon it will be snowing. When winter trees hold blackbird leaves, it's then I must be going. Oh, the days hurry on, always moving on and on. I have loved you from the dawn and will through the evening. Maybe you'll grow big and strong, maybe you'll be lucky. I hope and pray your days are long and most of them are happy. Someday when you laugh or sing, or if you're sick or grieving, or when at last you're old like me, it's then you'll hear me singing. Oh, the days hurry on, always moving on and on. I have loved you from the dawn and will through the evening. Oh, the days hurry on, always moving on and on. I have loved you from the dawn and will through the evening.
Can I have a tiny bit more of my vocal in? Oh no, it's there. Wasn't there before? Never mind.
Why don't you just get closer to your microphone?
I thought I was. I'm sorry.
I have a lovely story about our tax accountant one time looking at the list of our equipment And the microphones. There's like a page of microphones. And she looked at me and she said, why does Mike get so many microphones? Can't he just learn to speak louder?
What am I playing? Oh.
So, a tune and a song. The tune is called Greasy Coat, and since this is being broadcast live, I'm not allowed to tell you what I heard it was about, or where it got its title, so I won't go there, but you can ask me later and I'll tell you. And the song is called Sail Away Ladies, which has it's a bit of a nonsense chorus, isn't it?
Oh, I love nonsense choruses, don't you?
So,
Which I found when I was looking for music to do at sea festivals. See, Sail Away Ladies, that looks like a great candidate. Nothing at all to do with the sea. Oh.
so the chorus is, don't you rock 'em, die-dio?
Yeah, don't you rock 'em, die-dio. Sail away, ladies, sail away.
You'll pick it up.
Wait, we just start at the same time on this, don't we? Okay.
I don't know, don't you do some potatoes first?
Yeah, not on this one. 2,
Okay.
3, 4.
dismal song in a minor key about a dead person.
But at least this dead person has someone who loves them. Aww. This is actually a little early nod to Halloween. This is probably our only gig in October, so we got to throw something in, right?
So she's dead. He's lying on the grave crying. She comes back as a spirit and says to him, "Stop your whining, get on with it." Something like that, anyway.
It is something like that.
It's a modern precursor to "Baby, baby, baby, I want you back," you know.
Cold blows the wind to my true love, and gently drops the rain. I only had but one true love, and in greenwood she lies slain. Down in yonder grove, sweetheart, where you and I did meet, the fairest flower that ever I saw is withered and complete. The stalk is withered and dry, sweetheart, the flower it will never return. And since I lost my own true love, what can I do but mourn? I'll do as much for my true love as any young man may. I'll sit and mourn all on her grave for 12 months and a day. When 12 months and a day had passed, the ghost began to speak. Why sittest thou all on my grave, and will not let me sleep? There's one thing that I want, sweetheart, there's one thing that I crave, and that is a kiss from your lily white lips, then I'll go from your grave. My lips, they are as cold as clay, my breath smells awfully strong, and if you kiss my cold clay lips, your days they won't be long. Go fetch me water from the desert and blood from out of the stone. Go fetch me milk from a fair maid's breast that young man never has known. Cold blows the wind to my true love, and gently drops the rain. I only had but one true love, and in greenwood she lies slain. When shall we meet again, sweetheart? When shall we meet again? When the oaken leaves that fall from the trees turn green and spring to life again.
next Scottish tune? Irish.
Irish in its current form. But then you're going to open up a can of worms because the Scots claim that the tune traces back to a Scottish tune, and don't ask me hard questions.
Okay. So in Irish it's called An Calin Fionn, which is the maid at the wheel. Originally, obviously, the maid at the spinning wheel. But since we've been touring so much, the maid at the steering wheel is what we've been calling it. But lately I think it's back to the spinning wheel because we haven't been anywhere for 3 years. So back to the maid at the spinning wheel. And we've got
The tune that we'll go into from there is unreservedly Irish. And it's called the Rolling Wave.
Have I got eight? planning an arrangement, and that was nothing like the arrangement we planned.
Okay, we need more French music, don't we? Fortunately, we're set up for that. Woo. That was in tune, wasn't it? Who certifies miracles? This is a set of tunes that started out as two different sets of tunes that we used to do, and then we found ourselves running straight from one end to the other. And anyway, things got out of hand, and now we have this set of 4 tunes. So we call it 4 tunes, and Mike just started calling it Fortune. Like, what did you do with it? Anyway, yeah.
I can never remember what they were all called, so I just call it the Fortune set.
That's a good enough excuse.
She said, what key is it in? Medium. If you know the dances, do your best.
Okay. You first, after you.
Yes, dear, sorry, dear. Where's the metronome when you need it? Did somebody give Tanya coffee at the break?
Nobody did.
Well, time to slow things down a bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was doing a bit of very rare surfing on the internet, rare for me, and I came across this very cute girl sitting at a kitchen table with a Apple iPhone pod and microphone on the cable kind of thing, just sitting there casually singing this song. And I said to Tanya, you should come see this, she's really good. And she's just this kid sitting at this kitchen table singing this song. Tanya came over and she said, oh yeah, that's a nice voice. And I didn't know who it was, and somebody just posted the song. So I asked who it was on Facebook, and before I got an answer I'd actually found out that she wasn't just some kid at all. She's very cute and young looking, but she was Ria Del Rey, who's known all over the place and is touring around the world and is actually extremely, very, very, very good, just doing a little song in a kitchen for a laugh. And then Tanya said, oh, Peggy Seeger wrote that. And I was going to be an engineer. In fact, she was going to be an astronaut. Not a lot of people know that, but Tanya was planning on being an astronaut and a space physicist. Hey, you're outed now.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you should do that song then. And she said, right then, I will.
Well, Eddie Scarborough put the song in front of me back when I had just left engineering school for my year off that I'm still on. And actually, I didn't take to the song right away. I wasn't sure why. I really liked it. I wanted to do it, but I didn't quite identify with this whole I want to be an engineer thing, because actually I've been kind of sideswiped into engineering. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a research physicist. And one of the things you had to do as a senior in high school at that point was you had to go and meet with your college careers counselor. And basically the line I got from him was, well, being a research physicist requires all these advanced degrees, and gosh, they'd be cutting into your childbearing years, so you'd better just go for engineering. So I went for engineering.
Which was the truth, because Tanya's mum was a research chemist and gave it up to have 4 kids and raise them. So
she did, but I realized that what the song is about the barriers that my mom faced as a research chemist, because I'd heard a lot of these stories from her when I was growing up, and then I realized that Peggy Seeger is only 4 years younger than my mom. So this is from Mom's generation. And what started me thinking about that was wondering how somebody as young as Reina Del Cid still identified with this fabulous song by Peggy Seeger, who is 4 years younger than my mom.
When I was a little girl, I wished I was a boy. I tagged along behind the gang and wore my corduroys. Everybody thought I only did it to annoy, but I was gonna be an engineer. Mama said, why can't you be a lady? Your duty is to make me the mother of a pearl. Wait until you're older, dear, then maybe you'll be glad that you're a girl. Dainty as a Dresden statue, gentle as a Jersey cow, smooth as silk, makes creamy milk. Learn to coo, learn to moo. Well, that's what you do to be a lady now. When I went to school, I learned to write and how to read, some history, geography, and home economy. And then typing is a skill that every girl is sure to need, to while away the extra time until it's time to read. And then they've got the nerve to ask, what would you like to be? I said, I'm gonna be an engineer. No, you only need to learn to be a lady. The duty isn't yours for to try and run the world. An engineer could never have a baby. Remember, dear, that you're a girl. Well, I started as a typist, but I studied on the sly, working all the day and night so I could qualify. Every time the boss came in, he pinched me on the thigh and said, I never had an engineer. You owe it to the job to be a lady. The duty of the staff is to give the boss a whirl. Well, the wages that you get are crummy, maybe, but it's all you get 'cause you're Hey Mom, pretend you're dumb. Well, that's how you come to be a lady today. Then Jimmy came along, we started up a conjugation. We were busy every night with love and recreation. I spent my days at work so he could get his education, and now he's an engineer. He said, I know you'll always be a lady. It's the duty of my darling to love me all her life. Could an engineer look after or obey me? Remember, dear, that you're my wife. Now, what price for a woman? Oh, you buy her for a ring of gold. To love and obey without any pay. You get a cook and a nurse, for better or worse. Well, you don't need a purse when a lady is sold. Well, after Jimmy got a job, I studied hard again. I was happy at midterm lay the year or more, and then the morning that the twins were born, Jimmy said to them, kids, your mother was an engineer, but now you owe it to the kids to be a lady. Dignity as a dish rag, faithful as a chow. Stay at home, you got to mind the babies. Remember, you're a mother now. Well, every time I turn around, there's something else to do. Cook a meal or mend a sock or sweep a floor or two. Listening to Jimmy Young just makes me want to spew. I was gonna be an engineer, and now I wish that I could be a lady. I do all the lovely things that a lady's supposed to do. I wouldn't even mind if only they would pay me, that I could be a person too. But now the times are harder and when Jimmy's got the sack, I went down to Vickers, they were glad to have me back. I'm a third-class citizen, my wages tell me that, but I'm a first-class engineer. The boss, he says we pay you as a lady. You know you only got the job because I can't afford a man. With you I keep the profits high as maybe. No, you're just a cheaper pair of hands. You got one fault, you're a woman, not worth equal pay. Nature a tart, you're nothing but heart. Shallow and vain, you got no brain. You even go down the drain like a lady today. Well, I listened to my mother and I joined the typing pool. I listened to my lover and I put him through his school. But if I listen to the boss, I'm just a bloody fool and an underpaid engineer. I've been a sucker ever since I was a baby, as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, as a dear. But I'll fight them as a woman, not a lady. I'll fight them as an engineer.
Well, and I know times have improved because, you know, I've got friends now who are my age or just a little bit older who've been working as engineers all their lives. And, you know, when one of my friends asked around, she found out that she was only getting 25% less than her coworkers who were male. And when she complained about it to the boss, she got reprimanded for asking about somebody else's pay. But then she talked to somebody else about it and went over his head, and things worked out just fine.
There is talk of transparency in pay, isn't there now? You're supposed to be able to talk about your pay.
Yeah, can we?
I don't know, I never get any pay, so it's not relevant to me. Okay, finally, you may have heard there's a little rumble going on over in the east to do with Russia and Ukraine. This is a tune that we've had for years and years and years. We've no idea what it's called, we just call it the Ukrainian tune. So we're going to play that. We'll dedicate it to Volodymyr Zelensky, who I think deserves it. Somebody observed not long ago that there is now an eighth wonder of the world, and that you can see his cone is from space now, which I think is probably about right. Very, very brave and amazing guy, considering he was a comedian. I'm going to follow it with a Norwegian tune, because what else would you do with a Ukrainian tune?
Well, there is a link. Norway used to be part of another country too, and they got their independence, and they didn't have to get it back again later.
It's true.
Yeah.
So here's to the Ukraine.
not write very many songs myself, but I sure appreciate all the wonderful songwriters I meet and get to play with and learn songs from here in the Pacific Northwest. One of the ones right over in Paulsbo, which is like the next village down from where we are in Suquamish. We've got a whole bunch of good songwriters, including Matt Price. And this is one of Matt Price's songs. Are we there? Oh, and is this going to be a big finisher? Is it time? Are we there?
Oh, it's a little finisher.
It's a little finisher, okay, right. You'll have to coax us back out. Okay. I'm going to the river where the boats are dancing in the sun. I'm going to the river where the cold, dark waters run. I'm gonna let the river set me free. I'm gonna let the river swallow me. I'm going to the city where the towers reach the sky. I'm going to the city, nobody looks you in the eye. I'm gonna let the city set me free. I'm gonna let the city swallow me. Everywhere I go, I make mistakes. Everyone I love, I drive away. Are you gonna make me leave when I awake, or are you gonna let me stay? I'm going to the country where the cottonwoods in bloom. I'm going to the country, the owl is hooting in the gloom. I'm gonna let the country set me free. I'm gonna let the country swallow me. Bright star of the evening, blind as a prophet's eye. Why does the thought of leaving make me want to cry? I'm going to the river where the boats are dancing in the sun. I'm going to the river where the cold, dark waters run. I'm gonna let the river set me free. I'm gonna let the river swallow me. Everywhere I go, I make mistakes. Everyone I love, I drive away. Are you gonna make me leave when I awake, or are you gonna let me stay? Bright star of the evening, blind as a prophet's eye. Why does the thought of believing make me want to cry? Make me want, make me want, make me want to fly. I'm going to the river. I'm going to the river. I'm going to the river.
don't normally plan an encore, but we do have one up our sleeves.
Just in case.
This has been a difficult time for many people. We were stuck in Alaska for 2.5 years, halfway up the mountain, looking after Tania's mum through COVID. We avoided COVID. We decided to drive down through Canada because I've always wanted to drive the Alcan.
And because it seemed safer than flying, you know, COVID and all, right?
So 2.5 years up a mountain avoiding COVID, and we caught COVID on the last day in Canada before we crossed the US border.
Woohoo!
And the whole stay there had its ups and downs, but the biggest down was that last year, actually no, it's 2 years now, isn't it? 2 years ago, Tania's brother decided to go out fishing, which is something he's done all his life. Unfortunately, he didn't come back, he just disappeared. So we lost Tania's brother, and Tania felt moved enough to write a song which actually, mostly, is not her words, is it?
Well, I was writing one song, and then I started writing all the things that other people were posting on the web. And, you know, I knew that I was impressed with my brother, but I hadn't realized that he was an actual legend until I started reading all this stuff online. So I borrowed a lot of little bits and pieces that I was reading from other people's posts, including the first line, which is a text that I got from his partner when I asked her what some of his favorite ski runs were.
So things you might not recognise are actually the names they gave to the mountains in the backcountry that he used to ski.
Many of which were named by him. Tin Can Proper, Super Bowl Peak, the Basketball Run, Granddaddy, and TT 4300. The sun's diamond rays lit the cornice, and the day was nearly over. The light would be fading. But Eric made another climb. He saw a line he'd like to try. The man was amazing and crazy. He loved the Chugach Mountains. He was the Kenai's favorite child. He knew Talkeetna's peaks and slopes, and he skied them free and wild. Tourniquet or Hatcher or wherever the powder's sweet, cranking smooth, steady turns with clouds under his feet. Remember frost-covered handlebar eyebrows and the slow drawl. How's it going? A catalyst for epic days, a madman on the dance floor on a shining light of love and passion. He loved the Chugach Mountains. He was the Kenai's favorite child. He knew Talkeetna's peaks and slopes, and he skied them free and wild. Tourniquet or Hatcher or wherever the powder's sweet, cranking smooth, steady turns with clouds under his feet. How many days did he finish on one ski? How many slides did he knock down? Ride on, Viking, ride on in the never-ending mountains. Your legend will live on. He loved the Chugach Mountains. He was the Kenai's favorite child. He knew Talkeetna's peaks and slopes, and he skied them free and wild. Tourniquet or Hatcher or wherever the powder's sweet, cranking smooth, steady turns with clouds under his feet. This song is for his mother and his sweetheart, his family and friends. We know we will never see his like again. Tin Can Proper, Super Bowl Peak, the Basketball Run, Granddaddy, TT 4300. Kickstep, Sunburst, Captain's Chair, the Library, Big League, Pastoral, and Spirit Walker. He loved the Chugach Mountains. He was the Kenai's favorite child. He knew Talkeetna's peaks and slopes, and he skied them free and wild. Tourniquet or Hatcher or wherever the powder's sweet, cranking smooth, steady turns with clouds under his feet. He loved the Chugach Mountains. He was the Kenai's favorite child. He knew Talkeetna's